Magnetic Marketing members, back with another one of our co-authors of Why Advertising Fails, Dr. Emily Latran. So Dr. Emily is going to talk about how to keep a patient for 24 years. And in your case, it might be a customer, a client, a member. But one way you can make sure that your advertising doesn't fail is by not losing them.
Exactly.
So Dr. Emily, why don't you share with everybody a little bit about your backstory? I'm going to hop off stage and we're going to get to it, all right?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Darren. It's an honor, absolute honor to be on stage today and to be part of the Magnetic Marketing team for so many years. I think it's about a decade now, and to be able to learn from Dan and from you and from Adam. Well, my backstory, I'm actually share a little bit of that in my talk, but I actually came here as a refugee from Vietnam, and with all the challenges, but then this land is a land of opportunity. I've got the opportunity to learn more from experts, to put myself in the education process where we're always a continuous student, and that's how I end up on here, and I am so honored to be able to share some of those strategies.
Awesome. Dr. Emily, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, good morning, Cleveland and everybody from all over the world. My name is Dr. Emily Latran. I am an international speaker, executive coach, been a dentist for almost 3 decades. I host seminars, I'm an author, and I'm the best mom in the world. And it's my absolute honor to share with you how to keep a patient or a customer or a client for more than 24 years. What I'm going to share with you today is based on my experience running 2 multi-specialty group practices in Southern California with 14 operatories, associate doctors, team members, specialists. I'm an author. I wrote several books. My very first one is called From Refugee to Renaissance Woman. It shares my story coming here as a refugee. The second one is on high performance strategies. I'm so honored to have my mentor, Sharon Lecter, the co-author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, wrote the foreword for that. I've been featured in Dental Town magazine. That's the largest platform for dentists. Been featured multiple times. I've also been in the media, Yahoo, Finance, Forbes. I write columns for specialty publications. I've been on some very high-profile podcasts and been on TV. And my passion is to share my story and my strategies with business owners, professionals, and entrepreneurs. So I host seminars all over the country and also internationally. But life has not always been that way. I was actually born in Vietnam back in the late 60s. That was during the Vietnam War. Growing up, I have my mom, my dad, my older brother, and 2 younger siblings. Growing up during the war, every night what we watch on TV were bombings. There were dead bodies. There were people fleeing villages and a lot of propaganda. In 1975, the Vietnam War ended, the Americans left, and the communists took over. That began a series of very dark days where we used to stand in line to get whatever the government was willing to sell to us. It could be old rice, it could be stale bread, it could be moldy noodles. 1 year after the communists took over, my mother passed away due to cancer. I was 8 years old. And a couple of years after that, Vietnam was going to go to war again with China in the north and Cambodia in the west. At this point, my aunt decided to leave the country. She was going to take her 2 kids, my older brother, and 2 other guy cousins to escape the draft. Now, I'm a girl. I wasn't going to be drafted. But my dad told me, you're the oldest girl in the family. You need to go help your aunt. So I left the country. I left behind my dad and 2 younger siblings. I was 13 years old, and I never saw him again. Some of you might have taken a cruise, a big floating hotel with a lot of amenities. My first cruise was on a fishing boat. It was about 50 feet in length with 60 people crammed together, just like sardines. We were on the ocean for 7 days. The first 2 days with food, and the next 5 days just with sips of water. Some of you may have been to an exotic location, beautiful scenery. Well, my first exotic location is a refugee camp where we live in makeshift shelter with limited food, water, and electricity. So when I came to this country, My luggage were hope and faith. I remember trying to learn English because English is not my first language. So every night I would stay up to translate almost every word from English to Vietnamese so I could understand what was being taught to me. The big blue book that you see, that's the biggest English Vietnamese dictionary you could find. And when I go to school, I would bring the little yellow one in my backpack, and that's the one that sometimes I would open it up under the table to try to translate a word or two while I was in class. I used to drive an old car, 1984 Nissan Sentra. And one time I was coming back from a clinic, back to dental school, and the car died. Left me stranded on the road. There was no cell phone back then. And I'm there by the side of the road, jumping up and down, trying to get the attention of someone so they would stop and they would tow me back to school, take me to a shop close to school. I took my car there knowing very well that I didn't have money to get it out because my Tran checks and my scholarship checks, they weren't coming for another 2 weeks. And I remember walking along in the classroom asking my friends to lend me that money so I could get my car out. Because of all of that, I know I was starting from the bottom and there's only one way to go, which is up. I was very driven. I finished my undergrad in 3 years, finished Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude. And when I went to dental school, I finished my dentist degree and a master in oral biology in the same 4 years. This is actually a picture of me walking out of Royce Hall on graduation day. I looked pretty good back then, huh? I don't know what happened. So once I finished school, I went out, got married, have 3 beautiful children, bought my first dental practice, my second dental practice, my third dental practice. Every morning, I would drop off my kids either at school or at the babysitter, go to work from 9 to 2, and then I take off 2 hours to go pick them up from 2 to 4, take them back to the babysitter. When they were older, sometimes they went to work with me, then go back to work from 4 to 6. And then at 6 o'clock, go and pick up the kids and then go home. My husband has a job, so he would leave in the morning and he would just come back in the evening. He didn't have to worry about going through all that with the kids. So one day my son, he was in 2nd grade, he came up to me and he said, "Mom, next week at 11:30, I have a recital and I want you to be there." And I'm thinking, who has a recital right in the middle of the morning? That means I would have to leave work, go there, listen to the recital for 30 minutes, and then come back and resume my day. So I got a little bit frustrated. I told my daughter, she was 4 years older, and I said, "Jennifer, I don't remember taking time off in the middle of the day and trying to go and watch you during, when you were in 2nd grade." And Jennifer looked at me, and she said, "Mom, I did have a recital. You just didn't come." And that was like a slap in the face because here I am, I'm thinking that I'm doing a very good job. I'm running 3 dental offices. I make good income. I'm taking care of my kids, but yet I was so busy that I missed a special moment in my daughter's life. And that's when I made the decision that I'm going to try to learn everything, to be very productive, to learn marketing so I can grow my office without me being there. And I have the free time to be with my kids and my family whenever I want. And I would never miss another special occasion in my kids' life again. So I just share with you my story, my boat story, and I'm wondering, what is your boat story? What kind of challenges did you go through? Is it a stagnant business? Are you stuck at a certain level? Maybe you're trying to balance work and family. And are you at that turning point, like my recorder story, where you know you need to do something different? Because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. I know that success cannot be achieved and sustained without high performance, which is training and development. And I'm going to share with you the blueprint to keep a patient or a customer for 24 years to maximize your ROI. You need to know your business metrics. You need to know how to do authority positioning. You need to have a great personality, something that will attract people to you so they would come and stay, pay, and refer. And you want to implement strategies with speed. And you can do that with the help of experts and using great resources. So the very first thing in business is you have to have clarity. You have to know what you want. You have to know your values. Because sometimes when people are trying to grow and they try to implement certain things and it's not in alignment with their values, that's when they have conflict. That's when they have stress. And when you're doing things in alignment with your values, you can really follow your passion. And then all you need to do is get that business plan in place with the help of expert, and you can start implementing and grow, whether it's incrementally or you can accelerate that growth. But you can't do that unless you're very clear in what you want, your specific goals, your exit strategy, and how you're going to sustain the business. The late Kobe Bryant says, we can always kind of be average and just do what's normal. I'm not in this to do what's normal, and I would highly encourage that you are not in this to do a normal business. So I have an exercise for you. I would invite you to write down the activities that you do every day, all of the activities. Maybe you wake up and you check your email, you check your Facebook, you go to work, maybe you're treating patients, you're treating clients, you answer the phone, you talk to vendors, you wrap up the day, whatever it is, write out all the activities that you do in a day. And then I want you to put a check mark next to the activity that directly increase income. And then after that, I want you to look at those check marks, and I want you to circle the activities that you are the only person who could do. Now, what you're going to find is sometimes when people get started, they have a long list, they have very few check marks, and every single one of those check marks have a circle. Or maybe they have a lot of circles. And the key is to not have too many circles because you would learn how to delegate. And in my case, when I did this exercise several years ago, I didn't have any circle because I was running my business independent of me. Actually, I think the greatest compliment I have is when a patient comes into my office and they look at me and they go, who are you? And that means that I've been successful in running the business because the patient would come in and they're coming in for my team. They're coming in for the values that we deliver. They're coming in because of how the business is run, and they're not coming in specifically because of me. The clarity I mentioned about earlier is not just for you, it's also for your team. A lot of times the business owners say, yeah, I know what I want to do $1 million, which is so much a month. But when I ask the team have no ideas. What exactly that you want? What is the goal for every month? What is the goal for the year, the goal for the quarter? And how they're going to achieve those goals. And it's not just the team, it's also your family. It's also the experts who are helping you. Because unless we know exactly what you want, we're not going to be able to help you. I have a client who runs a tutoring center in Northern California. And what they do is they help kids improve their English in school. What they wanted, though, is to grow the business. So when I start working with them, we look at that big vision. We may start out with tutoring, but what we want to end up with is the kids getting into the college of their choice. Could be an Ivy League, could be whatever private school that they want. So we designed that roadmap where we're going to get the kids at a certain age, earlier, and then we're going to help them choose the right classes in high school, join the right team, and hold the right position, which is a leadership position. So when it comes time to take the SAT, when it comes time to actually submit that application, they're going to be in the best position to get to the school that they want. When you run a business, you need to know your numbers. And some of the very basic numbers that a lot of time when we ask, the business owners don't know. What is the acquisition cost of getting a new patient or a new customer? Just substitute between customer and patient for me because I tend to flip back and forth between those two. What is the cost of acquisition? How much does it cost you to get somebody into your business, into your office? What is the average value of a new patient? How much does someone usually spend when they come into your business? What is the lifetime value of that person? How long do they usually stay on the average? And how much is the total amount of money that they spend with your business? A lot of time people send out pieces of marketing and they just follow whoever the designer would give them because it looks good. So I'm sharing with you pictures of some generic mailers. Sometimes you see these in Valpak, or sometimes you may see it in the postcard or the flyer that ends up in your mailbox. You know, there's a big coupon. and then the list of services or products that we give. You know what? Everybody has that same thing. So here in contrast, this is one of my older postcards. And this is the welcome postcard for new move-in. And it addresses some of the concerns that somebody may have in their head. Are you frustrated with your smile? Do you feel the dentist? Do you have insurance? Maybe you worry about that part. You can come in for a complete new patient exam. We put a value on that. And right at the bottom of the postcard, we already talk about that we've been featured in the paper, in the news. And then we immediately have the testimonial of a patient right on that first page. When you flip it over in the back, we address those concerns a little bit more in details. We put a deadline, we put a limited number, it creates a sense of urgency. And if you can see where it's a new patient offer, we say that there is a 7-step to this new patient exam. Now, a lot of the other dentists may be doing the same thing, but they're not calling it a 7-step system. So this is how you position yourself as being different, so you don't look like the doctor across the street, the business, across town, or maybe just down the street from you. And if you read this postcard, you will also see there's testimonials blending in to all the information that we have on there. Because again, we want, with the metrics, when we send out something like this with a tracking phone number and maybe even a coupon code, and we're already positioning ourselves as an authority, then it will tend to attract the people to come in. When they come in, they're a little bit pre-sold about who you are, that for sure that you'll be able to give them great value. The lifetime value of a customer is so important. When somebody stays with you for a long time, there's a very good chance that they're going to come back a few times. There's a very good chance that they're going to spend more money with you. There's a very good chance that they're going to refer people to you. So some of my longest patients who've been with me, they've been with me for more than 24 years, since I first bought my practice in 1997. And imagine how much money they have invested in their health, and they have stayed with my practice. So if you know the average lifetime value of a patient or customer, how long they stay, and you know the average amount of dollars that they spend with you, you're going to look at it different. The next time your staff lose a customer or a patient, get somebody upset and they leave, it's not just one person. It could be $10,000 that's walking out the door. And on top of that, all the referrals that they could be giving to bring other people into your practice. So knowing those numbers to make up the maximum customer lifetime value, and making sure that you're using every single opportunity to create more value and have them invest more with your business, you're going to see that you don't have to get stressed out and trying to keep bringing in more people. You keep the ones you have. You close the door in the back. You keep the bucket from leaking, and you maximize the value of those patients. One of the clients that I work with is Dr. Goodson. She is a sedation dentist. When she started working with me, she was also training dental offices in emergency medicine. And when we get started, I advise her to create packages so she can charge different levels. I advise her to do a subscription so she knows that there's going to be recurrent revenue. And of course, positioning herself as an authority. So she wrote a review for me, and she said, after working with Emily for only a short time, I was able to double my income in an area of my business that was underdeveloped. What happened when you work with somebody from the outside who have the experience and the expertise, they have a different perspective, and they can give you new strategies to look at your business differently than what it was that you were looking at, and immediately see the opportunities of things that you could have done that would increase the value, increase the income, or sometimes things that you should not be doing because you're so close to the trees, you couldn't see the forest. Authority marketing is very important when you are running a business as a professional. Again, when people come into the office, they already expect that you're competent. You got your degrees hanging up on the wall. How are you different? How do they know that you're an expert, an authority in your field? The easiest way to do that is to write a book. And you can reach out to Advantage Books, Forbes Books. to talk to them about how to write your own book. I actually wrote a handbook many, many years ago, and it's called The Ultimate Guide to Have a Beautiful Smile That Would Transform Your Life. And it talks about the common concerns that people have and what they can do, what are the solutions. And guess who's the one that gives the solution? Me, right? And it basically drives the patients, after reading that and being impressed with the different ways to get them to get that beautiful smile, for them to call the office and come into the office. The other way to position as an authority is to host events. In my dental office, I host movie nights. I invite my patients to come to a movie theater. They get free popcorn and a drink, and we would have a private screening of a blockbuster. Now, because it's a private screening, I can pick the time. And about 15 minutes before that movie screening, what I do is we go up in the front, we tell the patients who are in the audience, and by the way, we ask the patients to invite their friends. So some people in the audience are not even our patients. And we tell them about the newest things that we're doing in the office. Maybe we added new technology. Maybe we brought in a new associate doctor. What are the new things that we're doing? We recognize the patients who've been there with us for a long time. Maybe somebody's been there 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. We thank the patients who refer to us, because all of this is planting the seeds in the patient's head, even though they're there to see a movie. And then we have the movie going on. Every single time I do that, I would get a very positive ROI. Now, if you didn't know your number, you didn't know how much it costs to get a new patient or customer, you didn't know the lifetime value of your patient or customer, you may say, you're spending a lot of money to get these people in. How do you know you're actually going to get new customers? Well, I know because I track my numbers. I know that I could spend that money and I would get back multiple folds of the money that I invest, because I know the average value a new patient would come is for my office, and I know the lifetime value of a patient. We also do patient appreciation event. This is when we invite patients who come in, and usually we go by the patients who have been investing a lot of money in the office, maybe at least $5,000 in the past 12 months. So the numbers vary depending on who you want to recognize, but we would hold a patient appreciation dinner. We've been in bowling alleys, karaoke, Dave and Buster's, all of these things where it's going to be fun for the family. They come in, same thing. We're going to serve food. We're going to take the time, thank the people who refer to us. They don't know that they're the one that invests a lot of money, but we just thank them for coming. And we have the conversation going on between them. They start appreciating who we are as an office, our team, and the other patients that are in the office. They see people similar to them. Maybe they're in the same profession. Maybe they've all been living in the same town for a long time. And make sure that it's fun. Here it is. You can see that there's a prize wheel that we do. You spin, and then you even win more prizes. Our office grew over the years with internal referrals. So we do referral contests. And I don't like the referral where you're going to give a Starbucks card or a Target card. I like big fun things. So one of the things that we do is $1,000 toward a cruise. Patients have money to go on a cruise, but it's just so much cooler when the dentist is helping to pay for it. And I still remember specifically for this one referral contest, the patient who won, she gave the money to her son to go on a cruise, and then the son decided to take that money and put it into his tuition for college. So I have these stories where we're creating the referral contest to make it fun, and it helps our office grow, but at the same time, it's touching our patients' lives in other ways, more than we know. When we're talking about authority marketing, make sure that people know what you're doing beyond what you're doing in your business. Whether you're in the operatory, you're in an exam room, wherever your business is, I know that a lot of us do more than whatever we're doing in our business. So a good way to let people know is to send out a newsletter. Now, my office, the demographics are older patients, so we send out the physical newsletter. If you have a lot of people online, you can just send out an online newsletter. But don't make it boring. People don't want to see a newsletter from me, and it's about teeth, right? So this is one page in the newsletter. You can see that there's a little part of it that we're talking about feeding adolescents. That's just for fun. There's a little intro part to the new associate doctor who's joining our office. And there's a little column. It's called From My Boat to Yours. And it's written by Giggle the Goldfish. So Giggle the Goldfish is going to talk about her mom, which is Dr. Emily. And she's going to say, Dr. Emily went to the seminar to learn this. This particular one said, Dr. Emily just did a free dentistry day and gave away $14,000 worth of dentistry. So this little goldfish is going to brag about me without me bragging about me. And they just make it so much cooler. Doing philanthropy is a good way to put your name out there. And when you do something great in your office, make sure you let the local paper know. Make sure you send out a press release so it's going to be picked up by different media centers, and that would help get your name out there. This was an old flyer that we put out there for a free dentistry day. We do that once a year. We do free dentistry for families of disadvantaged background, for veterans. And so we put this out there. We do this year after year. And I got a lot of patients who come in. Actually, I share a story of somebody who came into the office on a free dentistry day because he didn't have a job. And a couple months later, when he landed a job, he came back and spent more than $10,000 on his teeth. And it's really because he came in and we respected him and we treated him with dignity. We also did international mission trip. This is a picture of me in Costa Rica doing a mission. And you see all those kids flocking to me. They're there because I brought 2 brand new soccer balls. So I instantly got fans surrounding me. Positioning yourself as an authority is something that you have to do very intentionally, step by step, and always be reinforcing it. One of my clients is a specialist. We started working actually right before the pandemic, like in February, and then boom, the pandemic hit. And one of the suggestions I have for her, recommended for her, and I'm very blessed that she's very coachable. She follows what I recommend. So we started a study club. The very first study club was started in April during the pandemic, April 2020. It was virtual. People were dialing in on the Zoom to hear what she has to say. And then after that, she could host small meetings in her office, share new strategies, new technology, help them solve their difficult cases. And then she could also bring in other experts to help run the meetings and provide even more value. So instead of referring to just any specialist, the general doctors love to refer to her because they get to go to the study club, they get to have some food. We get companies to sponsor the meeting, so they're the one buying the food, they're the one bringing in the drinks, and they have a lot of fun. And this study club is going on every month. So every month she has an excuse to see all of the doctors who refer patients to her, and also she asked them to invite even more doctors to come. She eventually also became a speaker, so I invited her to speak at my event, Action to Win. We held workshop in her town and invited the general doctors to come. I invited her on high-profile webinars, so other people internationally also recognize her. Remember about the author writing a book? Well, she also became an author. She was a co-author in one of the books that I wrote called Doctor to Doctor: Success Strategies, Elevating Your Business and Personal Life. So what I preach is also what I coach and help other people do the exact same thing. Just a little bit about personality. I'm sure if you're attending this webinar, you know Dan Kennedy. He's the professor of harsh reality, right? We stand for something. So when you go to my dental office, you're going to see this picture. It's me falling off an ostrich, almost falling off an ostrich. This was in Vietnam. It cost $1 to get on the ostrich. And I'll tell you, that's a $5 picture because I had to fall off 5 times before my husband could get this picture, right? So people look at the picture and they thought it's funny. They come to the front desk and they look at a jar. Ashes of problem patients. They start giggling. They see a sign, push this button to complain, and it's a mousetrap. It's a prop. It's not going to hurt anybody. They go to the bathroom, and the sign says, all men are created equal. That is why women are in charge. So as the patients are walking back to the operatory, they're already giggling. They're expecting the doctors, they're expecting me to be funny. They relax. and they're expecting a sense of sarcasm. And I over-deliver in that department, by the way. So what happened is when the patients come in, they already been put at ease with all these little signs, besides obviously having the staff being friendly and answering all their questions. We make sure that we celebrate holidays. When people come in, they know that we're a fun office. It's Halloween, we're gonna dress up. Everything that we do in the office, we do it, again, intentionally for a particular reason. So what I want you to do is go back to your office, go back to your business, and look at what's on the wall. And why is it on the wall? Is it on the wall? Let's say it's a painting, a picture. Is it because you like it? Or maybe you can put something else that would help the patients think more about the products and services that you provide. When you want to grow and implement these things, it's very important that you do it with speed and accountability. It's very common when somebody go to a seminar, come back and tell their staff, oh, we're going to do this. And then the staff say, give it 2 weeks. He or she is going to forget about it. Immediately implementing these things and have somebody keeping you accountable and reminding you that you're supposed to do certain things, that's the key to success. Stephen Covey says the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Everything you do should be very intentional if you want to be productive. And sometimes what people think is, oh, I want to be productive. That means I have to do more. No, not necessarily. You could be adding more procedures, more products, more services, and then you delegate. So you're not the only one responsible for that. You could add on higher value procedures. You could sell higher end products, and you would increase your production also. And you could bring in experts to help you. So in the case of a professional office, bring in a specialist, an in-house specialist, who can do more than what you want to do or you don't know how to do. Bring them in so your business become sort of like a one-stop shop, and the patients or the clients can come there and get all the services that they need. Sometimes people say, you know what, Emily, I'm really busy. I'm very productive. I have this big, long to-do list. Well, I'm going to challenge you on your big to-do list. Do you actually finish it every day? Do you actually check off everything? Or are you totally stressed out and you couldn't finish your list every day? Instead of a to-do list, and I learned this from Joe Polish, how about a not to-do list? Things that you shouldn't do, things that somebody else should be doing for you. Because it's very important to focus, remember that exercise that we said at the beginning, to focus on the tasks that create income and on the tasks that only you could do, because the rest of it you could delegate. And how many of us get distracted? My youngest son made this a slide for me, and it has all of those things that could distract you. How many people go online to look up something and then end up on Amazon, right? Because I'm totally guilty of that, and especially if I end up on a travel site and I start looking at beautiful mountains and oceans, and next thing I know, I'm on there for 30 minutes and I haven't got the answer to whatever I was looking up for. I know that a lot of people have calendars. What's on your calendar? For me, it's going to be family gatherings, the birthdays, the anniversaries, the celebrations, and then marketing calendar. When are you going to send out that email or your email sequence? When are you going to do that Facebook Live? When are you going to do that live interview on things like StreamYard? Are you on LinkedIn? Depending on where your prospects are, you should be on all those social media, but you have to schedule it, because if you don't schedule it, you're going to forget. Things are going to just fly by you, and then the next thing you know, oh, this month we did one thing instead of 10 things in marketing. That's why automation is so important. One of the products that we have here at Magnetic Marketing for dentists is called MLive, and it sends out automatic email to patients, whether they new or they're existing patients, and it just automatically does it by itself, a whole sequence of email where you don't even have to think about it. So automation, implementing with speed, with accountability, would help you increase your productivity, and ultimately it should increase your net income. One of my most successful clients is Dr. Katie Toe. She has a 7-figure business. She teaches, she loves to do biological dentistry and cosmetic dentistry. So all of these are highly technical, sensitive, technique sensitive, and it's higher end value, right? Higher fee. When I started working with her, she was exhausted. She wants time with her family. She's doing well, but she's staying late to try to wrap things up. And what she told me is, I want to have more time with my husband. I want to pick up golf again because that's something that I used to do and that I love, and I couldn't get back to it. So we streamline her business. We get her to work one less day. Imagine one less day, that's a lot of time saved. But the production went up, the income went up. She started having weekly date night with her husband, showing up, being present, not tired, and she could go back to her golf game every week. She even brought her little son to teach him to learn how to play golf. She got her life back. She does well in business and got her life back. So I encouraged her to start speaking. So when she starts speaking, I put her on stage. I put her at Action to Win. She can share her story. She can share the strategies that she used in biological dentistry to impress other people that she is the expert, because she's been taking a lot of training, get certified in ozone therapy and biological dentistry. So it's time to share her expertise, kind of similar to what I do. I invited her to become an author. Remember the theme of being the author and positioning as an authority keep coming up. She's a co-author in this book that we wrote called No Nonsense Dentistry for Dental Peeps. And she started doing her own seminars. She's teaching dentists now how to do biological dentistry and how to do cosmetic dentistry very successfully. One of my clients, when we first talked, we call that a focus call. When I first talked to the client, she was right in the transition, just made an offer to a practice with a building, and we chatted, and I gave her some suggestion. She came back and wrote this glowing review. One phone call, $30,000 safe. It's because of what I recommended to her to propose to the seller. And Dr. Katie Toll says that high-performance coaching with Dr. Emily has been the best investment for me. I thought I had to sacrifice because I wanted to be a working mom, a business owner, a clinical dentist, and a wife. But I was wrong. I can have it all. I just need to know how, and Dr. Latran would help me to do just that. So if you think about it, if you have your own customers or patients, and you can keep them for a long time, so you can grow your business over time with that goodwill, with the patients and the customers referring more and more to you, where you can minimize your dollar cost in advertising. And when you actually put out the advertising, you can use all of the strategies we shared today to make sure your advertising doesn't fail. You're going to have less worry. You're going to be less hurry. You're going to have a lot more laughter, and you can be kind to everybody around you. Well, I invite you to take a little quiz. You can text Action 2021 to 26786. Or if you're out of the country, you can scan this QR code, because I don't think the text may not work wherever you are. And what it does is it will take you to a short quiz. It's going to ask you some questions about high performance. And it's not just about the income. Remember, we talked a little bit about the stress that you may have, how to build up your business, how to manage your time. High performance is all of that. And to learn strategies for advertising, to learn ways to stimulate referrals, all of those things will help you get to the high performance level without you overworking and getting stressed out. I believe the investment in business and in yourself is what would help you be more successful. And I encourage you to start doing that today, to invest in some of the resources that we have. Do the quiz so you can get an idea of where you are, because you need to know where you are in order to know where you need to go. I know that you are already ready to take your business and yourself to the next level. So implement things, work with experts, reach out and use all the resources that we offer to you. I wish you the best success and may the floss be with you.
Dr. Emily, thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Let's see. I'm going to make sure that I'm no longer on mute. I think we're all good. So, Dr. Emily, thank you so much, and may the floss be with you. That's quite a beautiful one. So, before we take just a short break, if somebody's watching right now and they haven't given the most incredible free gift a try, or they haven't bought the book yet, what would you tell them?
Oh, well, first of all, it's my absolute honor to be able to contribute a chapter in the book. I would say get a copy for yourself, get a copy for your best friends, get a copy for all your classmates, because it's very, very important to follow a roadmap and to follow people who have already done it and be successful in it. And I know for a fact, a lot of us professional, let's say dentists, we like to dabble in things, right? We want to be able to criticize the website. We want to learn how to write code and all that. You don't have to. I mentioned that in order to be successful, you want speed and you want accountability. So speed is using the great resources, and this book is a wonderful resource, and Dan puts out, I don't know how many books now, and that's my favorite, the No BS series.
Yep.
Yes. The best one for professionals, one of the best one is No BS Management, Ruthless Management of People.
People and
yes,
profits.
People and profits. And I think that will give you a great perspective on how you should manage your staff and even yourself. Because a lot of time we go in there, we got distracted, and we waste time. So definitely buy the book, right? Sign up for the newsletter. Do everything you can, because that's how you're going to accelerate and get to success.
Well, thank you, Dr. Emily. And Dr. Emily's story, how heartwarming is it and how incredible. And that is the beauty of America. And
Yes.
man, the first time I heard your story, it was almost moved to tears, which is hard for me to do. Which I really appreciate your time today. And Emily, your story is just incredible. And we certainly wish that others can have that same opportunity. So with that, we're going to take a short 3-minute break. And I'll be back in just a moment with Pardiv Shah, one of our sponsors. And he's going to talk briefly about how he helps our members make sure that their advertising does not fail.
Thank you.
Thank you.